if proof were required as to just how closely matched the two teams in the Louis Vuitton Cup Final are today in stunning and breezy Barcelona conditions. Ineos Britannia and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli went toe-to-toe throughout the day's two races and at the end shared a race win apiece. With a solid southwesterly Garbio breeze that topped the upper wind limit of 21 knots more than once, it was survival sailing at times, with the sailors opting for double-board roundups at the leeward gates and minimizing maneuvers throughout the 8-leg races. With speeds in excess of 52 knots on the bareways at the windward mark, this was top-class match racing from two of the world's finest America's Cup teams. The opening race saw Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli come out fast and slugging, with the encounter effectively decided at the start when a match-hardened Jimmy Spithill powered the Italian AC75 back to the starting line, clear ahead and to windward of the British boat, forcing Ineos Britannia into an early tack away shortly after the start. From there it was a case of the rich getting richer, primarily down to some fine execution and near-perfect tactical racecraft by Spithill and co-helm Francesco Bruni, who established a lead in excess of 30 seconds before keeping a loose cover on the British, who simply could not find any opportunity to get back into the contest. A 46-second winning delta was the final reward for the Italian crew. After a couple of delays as the upper wind limit of 21 knots was breached, the first time this has happened in the Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup this summer, racing in Race 2 got underway with Sir Ben Ainslie and Dylan Fletcher turning the tables on the Italians, starting fast and smart, leading back to the start line to leeward and ahead. From there, after an initial tack on the left-hand boundary, a bow-to-bow drag race, back across to the right boundary, eventually saw Ineos Britannia establish a lead that they never looked like surrendering over the rest of the race. Luna Rossa managed to keep it close, but the British were able to sail their own race, picking wind shifts supremely and showing some devastating deep downwind angles. The result was an 18-second victory to Ineos Britannia and a notable momentum shift for the British. Jimmy Spithill, starboard helmsman of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, came ashore looking relaxed about the pressure, saying, "We've seen it all along. These are two very evenly matched teams, and we were expecting a tough series, and today showed that both teams can win races." For Sir Ben Ainslie, skipper of Ineos Britannia, he reflected on the performance profile of the two AC75s, saying, "It's hard to really read the performance. I think when both boats got in front, they did a nice job of controlling the race, and it's always a little bit hard for the boat behind in those situations." Asked about the emotions in and around the team, Ainslie further added, "There's a very good mood in the camp and we know we're in a fight, but that's the way we want it to be." With the series tied after the opening day's two-race action, the schedule sees the teams return to duty on Saturday, September 28th, when lighter conditions forecast. If today's arm wrestling at 50 knots was anything to go by, this Louis Vuitton Cup series is going to be a mighty battle fought all the way to the very end. Ineos Britannia and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli are locked in combat, with the first of them to score 7 points progressing to take on the defender, Emirates Team New Zealand, in October's Louis Vuitton 37th America's Cup match.
First day of the finals today, and it was a big day out there. We knew it was a big forecast. We've been lining up for quite a few days now. Full-on day. In the first race, Prada Luna Rossa got the jump on us on the start and just did a really good job and kind of locking the boat in those conditions, and we felt like we were making a few too many little mistakes in our manoeuvres and in the corners. But what was really great was obviously to kind of a little reset, just make a few little tweaks to how we're sailing the boat, and and even a bit more breeze in the second race. We managed to get a really good start and kind of just managed to control it from there. It's a mega intense race that, but great to come away with a win and level the series after the first day.
I think with life, it's very easy to make a judgment on someone, or very easy to be misjudged yourself. The great thing with sport is it just judges you one way, and that is how much do you want it, and how hard are you willing to work for it.
Beautiful job by Jimmy Spithill.
Jimmy Spithill has made the decision to slow down and go behind.
He's got ice in his veins, Jimmy.
Always started because of a decision my parents made when I was very young. And that was the decision to leave the suburbs of the city and move into the national park. But one of the key points of this was the only way to get there was by boat. And that's what really built this, let's say, hunger to really want to get onto the water.
At the moment.
What happens if you make a mistake? What happens if you make a bad decision? Look at the boats we're sailing now, the speeds, the risk, the reward that you get out there. There's serious consequence now. Really forced you to try not to do that too often.
The Stars and Stripes say it all. The comeback of 2013 is complete.
Well, I've got no shortage of examples of mistakes I've made, expensive mistakes, big ones, especially in the America's Cup. But every single time when I look back on the key point to all of it was the fact that the team just never gave up.
Spain, the America's Cup is Americans again!
In questo momento le prue sono pari, praticamente adesso Luna Rossa avanza con 6
Just
metri di vantaggio.
never ceases to amaze me, no matter how many America's Cup teams I do, just how much all of those people that don't get to race on the boat, how much time they put in, how much energy, how much they sacrifice for the guys that go out and race on the boat. It's something that still blows my mind to this day. Clearly, we spent a lot of time as a team in these America's Cup campaigns. I mean, you can literally be at the base 6 to 7 days a week. But personally, I've never seen it as a sacrifice. I believe this is such a privilege to be in this position.
Welcome to the Knockout Show, brought to you by Ainsley & Ainsley, powering this Ineos Britannia America's Cup crew. Now, I'm not being funny or anything. I don't know what the frame of this shot looks like, but I've got Jacob and Charlie alongside me, who are part of the men's 8 that won gold in Paris. And I think you can tell just by the height difference. In fairness, I'm also wearing heels, although I am granted little. But look at these two-man mountain machines. Guys, I just want to start by asking you, have you been following the action and what have you made of it so far? Look at this.
No, yeah, I have been following it religiously. It's been epic. I still don't have a clue what's going on, but it's very exciting to see Ineos Britannia just winning everything, it seems.
But you guys also know quite a few of the crew on board this boat. So can you imagine what it's like being a cycler on board Britannia?
I mean, obviously all the rowers that are on are comfortable with water, but I can't imagine the speed at which they're going, and so close to the water as well. It's infinitely faster than we go. So
are they confiding with you a little bit about how they're feeling out there? I mean, for someone like, Rooster, it's his first time in a sailing competition, and it happens to be the America's Cup.
Well, I think we might be confiding in them. No, it's watching these guys do what they do is really, really cool, and seeing their sort of progression from rowing into the sailing world has been awesome. I super hope you guys are going to love what you see today. Of course, it all kicks off today with the LV Cup final. 1st to 7 wins it. It's a really, really big competition starting today. Let's get over to Jim, who is over here. So Jim Ratcliffe, please, can we borrow you for a conversation on our dock walk? I want to start. Where are you going? Don't go that way. There's the water. It's a hazard. Talk to me about what you've made so far of this competition. We found ourselves in the cup final now. What have you made of what you've seen so far?
I think we've done very well, really. Yes, I mean, certainly a lot better than Auckland, and I think we've got a boat that is going fairly well. We're still sort of shaking it down, so. The trajectory is still upwards with the boat, and the crew are settling in. Ben's doing a great job, as is Dylan. So, so far so good. But it's a day at a time. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves.
I know you don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but this lot, what would you say to them as they head out on the water today to take on the Italians in this 1st to 7 crunch battle, which it will be to determine who's going to go into the America's Cup to take on the Kiwis?
Yeah, it's a huge day for us. This first race is huge, just psychologically. But I think, this is an elite sport, and these guys are elite sportsmen. But I think the key really is you have to focus and concentrate 100% of the time. and particularly here, it's the same in all key sports, but unlike Formula One, where you have George Russell, who takes the bend and makes all the decisions about how he's going to set himself up for the bend and takes the bend, here you've got a team going around the bend, haven't you? It's a choreography. Everybody has to get their bit right. And you know, there are 4 or 5 of them involved in that choreography. Any one of them is slightly off, then the tack or the jibe doesn't work, and you lose a boat length, you lose 25 metres, and you can't afford that. So you sort of need perfection. So I think, in the stress of the moment, it's all about focus and concentrate. Get it right, guys, every single time. That's where I am.
I'm going to go and speak to some of the key protagonists now. Thanks for your time, Jim. Okay, let's go over and find Ben. Ben, would you just come and join me for a second, just ahead of the race action today? Let's just talk about what we're expecting today. Conditions look nice for the first day of the LV Cup final. How are you anticipating today? What's in the playbook? You've got a couple of races against the Italians.
Yeah, it looks good. The forecast looks really good. Plenty of breeze and a bit of swell around, so expect a lot of action. It's going to be good.
Okay, and what's the momentum like? What's the feeling like amongst the team? We can hear the crowds getting really excited here ahead of Dock Out. How are you feeling as a team?
Yeah, we're feeling good. It's going to be a big day. We know it's going to be a tough fight against the Italians, but we're up for it. It's game time. Okay,
I'm going to let you crack on because the team are just about to dock out. You can see from the crowds that have gathered here, families, friends, supporters, everyone getting really excited and revved up for a great day of action on the water. Don't forget, you can watch all of it on TNT Sports, and there's an analysis show a little later on our Ineos Britannia YouTube channel. We'll see you then.
C'erano, ma ci sono degli upgrade da fare. Posso renderla ancora più liscia, ancora più adatta allo scorrere.
Oggi primo giorno di semifinali contro gli americani. Saranno sicuramente match combattuti secondo me, perché le performance delle barche sono molto simili. Dobbiamo assolutamente portare la barca al meglio e regatare bene per vincere i punti.
14 settembre 2024.
Un saluto a tutta l'Italia che ci fa il tifo.
Luna Rossa!
Luna Rossa! Luna Rossa! Luna Rossa! Luna Rossa! Luna Rossa!
Making it into the start box from 2 minutes.
Everybody feels really good.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli today. Big step closer to the Louis Vuitton Cup Final.
Wow, per noi ciclisti è stata davvero dura, però 4-0.
Terza giornata di semifinali qua a Barcellona, di nuovo contro America Magic. Oggi in programma altre 2 regate, a noi serve vincerne una per passare alla fase successiva. Vediamo, sarà sicuramente una bella battaglia e noi faremo il meglio con le nostre armi.
Sicuramente non è la giornata che ci aspettavamo oggi, prima regata è stata una regata bella, combattuta. Nella seconda regata eravamo testa a testa. Eravamo nella seconda poppa e abbiamo avuto un danno
Something's happened there, big breakage.
Adesso stiamo facendo tutte le varie valutazioni del danno per essere pronti domani a regattare sulla linea di partenza. Non è cambiato niente, purtroppo questo è lo sport. Il morale comunque è alto perché siamo veloci e stiamo regattando bene finalmente, quindi domani andiamo in acqua per portare a casa il punto.
It's 6:40 in the morning and we're getting ready to weigh the boat after repairing it.
Hola.
Let's go. Campaign to find a race for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
Very solid.
And this victory really has to go to our short team. They pulled an all-nighter. Walked in this morning, it was like seeing a bunch of zombies wandering around, and yeah, it's just the best way to repay them.
Questa è la Coppa America, le cose facili non ci sono, si può andare lontano, quindi fa parte del gioco. Adesso è un altro step dei tanti che vogliamo ancora fare, che dobbiamo fare, quindi mezz'ora di relax e poi testa al prossimo obiettivo.